look who's back with us. Greta's back on the road, and she is in fine fettle. Notice, now that she's back in favour, I've stopped calling her it. I'm not one of those people who makes a habit of referring to his car as she, but I'm just particularly over the moon. It turns out it was the fuel pressure regulator. Changed that. Brian found that one for me. I changed that, and it didn't immediately cure everything, because you've got to bear in mind it had been running rough for so long. It was really dirtied up in there. But since changing the fuel pressure regulator, I've given it a bit of a clean out. I've cleaned the spark plugs as well. I had to do that this morning, and they were only slightly dirty. They weren't filthy like they had been. So it looks like it's done the trick. And the good thing is, I replaced the entire ignition system in the process of trying to diagnose that fault. So actually, she is running better than she ever has done. I'm a happy man. I need to chop these big bits of pear trunk in half, just because they are so heavy. They're quite fresh, you see, so there's a lot of water still in them. They're extremely heavy, and I need to get them home to dry them out under the porter cabin, ready for projects. So I've been waiting until Greta was back on the road, so that I can bring up my chainsaw and not have to worry about cutting that by hand. Now, I haven't put any new fuel in this chainsaw for probably 2 or 3 years, and I'm surprised the fuel that was in there was still any good, but it was. Anyway, I've just emptied out the old fuel and put in some new stuff. Of course, it uses 2-stroke oil, but it's been so long I couldn't remember the ratio for the oil and the fuel. So I had a look on the bottle, and I don't know, it seems to go anything from 16 to 1 to 50 to 1. So I just picked a figure somewhere in the middle, about 25 or 30 to 1. Mixed it up in a jam jar and poured it in. Let's hope for the best. Oh, flipping out. Right, as Sod's law clearly dictates, you can't have 2 working engines at the same time. That one's all good. I can't get this one started. I've just absolutely killed myself pulling that. It's really weird. It's never failed to start first time. I've left it in the shed for over a year, not using it. Pulled it out and fired it up, and it started straight away. So I'm not sure what's going on today. I'm not going to do anything with it here. I'll take it home and have a look, see what's going on. And in the meantime, I don't want to leave these up here any longer, because it's just too sunny and too windy. They're going to dry out too quick and they're going to crack. So I'm going to haul them into the car as they are, and then get them somewhere nice and shady at home. And I think I'll get on with planting out all of these onions and shallots. I'm going to stick them in a bed where I've never planted onions before, because previous years it was a horrible stony bed, but it's much improved now. In fact, it's very improved. So also it's the weediest bed. This one here, it had sweet corn and squashes in it last year. It's got more weeds than all the other beds, because when I pulled the sweet corn and squashes out, I didn't bother recovering it all. So there were patches here and there where the plants had been that weren't covered over, and it allowed the weeds to get in. But even that isn't the worst. I'll dig those out in no time, and we'll start getting all those onions in. Well, that will teach me to neglect covering my beds up properly at the end of the season. I go to all the effort. I say effort, actually it makes life a hell of a lot easier. I go to the effort of being being very no dig, mulching everything over. There's very little point if when you take your plants out in the autumn you don't cover it over again. Because there was quite a lot. That was the worst one. The others are all much less weeded up than that. But look, there's big clumps of grass. There were some large docks, and that was a bit more work than I was expecting. It's my own fault. But it has been really nice going over this soil. I've not dug the whole bed. There's mycelium growing everywhere down there, and that's a really good thing. I don't want to disturb it too much. I want to let it do its thing. So in order not to disturb the mycelium too much, I've literally just dug out where the weeds were, and all this soil that you can see scattered on the surface. When I came here 6 years ago, that was nothing but clay and flint. Look at that now. 6 years of cardboard and compost and mulch. That's doing really nicely. I'm happy to put onions in that now. It was potatoes and things before, but they're not going to be going in today. Like I said, that was harder than I thought, and I can't dig like I used to. So they're going to have to wait now till next week. I'm going to find somewhere really shady. They're sitting over there at the moment. I'm going to find somewhere really shady for them, because they are ready to go out. I don't want to leave them for too much longer. But of course, the other benefit of leaving this till next week is I will have scattered, inevitably, it's definite, I will have scattered little bits of broken up root on that surface, and by leaving it for a week, they're either going to dry out and die in the sun and the wind, or they're going to shoot. And when I come back next week, the dead ones I don't need to bother about. Any that I can see shooting, it's easy for me to whip them out, job done. I'm going to clear up and go home and rest now. I know when to stop. If I push it too hard, I'll just end up spoiling it for myself, because I won't be able to do things later on. So somewhere nice and cool and shady for these, to slow down their growth for the next week before they're ready to go out over there. Let's just say a quick hello to the chickens. I've not seen much of them today, I've been too busy. Shirley has mostly stopped laying eggs, but occasionally she'll still lay one. Hello girls. How you doing? You come say hello. Come on, Shirley. There's a good girl.